You've not done Rogan.
I have not done Rogan.
Why haven't you done Rogan yet?
So Rogan actually knowingly is passing me up. Yeah. So I have a book coming out. I know we've talked about it off camera. I have a book coming up. My publisher actually reached out to the Joe Rogan show to make sure they were aware of me and my upcoming book. And their producer wrote back and said, Joe knows Andy. Joe's been tracking Andy, and Joe does not want to talk to Andy.
Very interesting.
I don't know why. I have a silly theory because when I interviewed with Lex, and I have tremendous respect for Lex Fridman. When I interviewed with Lex, it was before I really understood that during these interviews, there's a bit of a game that you play with the host, right? So I made Lex look bad on his own show. And a lot of the comments that came out afterwards, a lot of the reason that that show did so well is because people are commenting on what their opinions are for the ways that I made Lex look bad. And there are apparently a lot of people out there that liked Lex looking bad. And then when that started going to Twitter and that started going to Instagram, I actually got some messages from Lex saying, why would you encourage people to say such mean things?
He said that to you?
Yeah.
Lex said that to you?
Yeah. And I went back and I wasn't even tracking social media, right? So I went back into my social media feed and I saw where people were saying bad things and I saw where I clicked thumbs up on whatever they were saying, just because I was clicking, like to everything. And I actually wrote Lex back and I was like, hey man, I don't really know what I'm doing. I apologize for hurting your feelings. Let me go back and recant it. And there's actually on Twitter, you can see me going back and saying, hey, Lex was a great interviewer. If you think I looked good on this interview, it's only because he was asking good questions. And, but nevertheless, when I left Lex's studio, he and Joe Rogan are good friends. And he was like, Joe's just down the street. I bet Joe would love to have a conversation with you. And then just a few days later, everything went tits up on the internet and Lex stopped talking to me. So if there's...
Well, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't see... Joe is very loyal to his friends. Very loyal. To his core friends, very loyal to him. So I'm not surprised. That's probably what could have happened because he really likes Lex and they have a very good relationship together. It could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I actually think Joe would very much enjoy talking to you. But one thing I love about Joe said the following. The first time I went on Joe Rogan, Joe reached out. I didn't reach out. I'm like, hey, we had a conversation exchange. Like, hey, you want to do a podcast? I'm like, sure. Boom. And then we went out there and that's kind of how it happened. And then the second time around, he opened up his club. I wanted to go see his club. And then he said, hey, if you're down here, you want to do a podcast? Sure, let's do a podcast. And I gave him the few gifts, which, by the way, man, let me tell you, I don't know if you saw when I gave him the gifts, the comment section. They were not, I will never, ever give anybody a gift after my, if you go back and look at my history of me having, like when I had Kobe Bryant, I give him a gift. He was trying to be a producer. I gave him a signed copy of all the Star Wars people signing there. When I had Mark Cuban on 10 or 11 years ago, I gave him a gift. I know he's an Atlas Shrugged guy. I gave him original, first print, first cover, everything. Like, you can't find that. It's a very tough book to find. He didn't have one. He was thankful. We're always giving gifts from the Middle Eastern side. Sean Ryan gives gifts as well, I think. But I'm like, yeah, next time if I got a gift for Joe, can you turn off the camera, man? I'm going to give it to you afterwards. But, yeah, I mean, look, hopefully that'll happen eventually. Fed, you hear stories with Fed. Even, by the way, some people even say Lex. It's like Lex, that's everybody has a criticism that they get, That guy we take money from Mossad. I've never taken money 100% financed by my own company. I sold my insurance company, and now everything I'm doing here pretty much financed by us. But everybody has their own criticism. Tucker took money from Qatar. Those guys took money from Mossad. Ben Shapiro got this. This person got this. What do you know about the back and forth with Peter Thiel's story came out 2023. He's a Fed. Did you read that story or know it?
I didn't read the story. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And Peter Thiel has been a topic for a long time, a federal debate for a long time. Yeah. And what I know about Peter's company and where it intersects government, I'm pretty sure is still classified, so I can't talk about it. But I can see why people would accuse him of being tied up with.
I'm assuming you're talking about Palantir.
Again, and I don't know how much is public or not public. So you said it, not me. But that's pretty much where I can and can't talk.
Yeah, I had a guy, the recent theory that a guy said, and then I saw a video that the guy showed today on the podcast with Nick, that JD came out of nowhere. Okay, JD Vance. He was a guy that came from Thiel. And then Elon went in with the Doge, and they got the intel that they needed. And Palantir now is getting a contract with the government, and this may be a direction for technocracy and all this other stuff. Does the CIA sit there and worry about technocracies? Does the CIA sit there and say, well, listen, the direction we may be going, and these guys are no longer billionaires. They're not worth 100. Now they're worth hundreds. They're soon. Elon's going to be a trillionaire in the next 12 to 36 months.
Yeah.
I think he'll be worth $1 trillion in the next 12 to 36 months. A trillionaire, you can buy countries. You can buy, it's a very different world when you make that kind of money. Is there the fear of a technocracy and some of these guys coming out and overtaking control?
Not at CIA, not widespread at CIA. Keep in mind, CIA's focus is almost exclusively foreign, right? If they're looking inside the United States, it's because a foreign threat has made it inside the United States. So they don't worry about that. But I will say that
CIA believes that all people are born with a spy secret superpower. For some people, that means they can win deals. For others, they can spot liars. Some can even seduce lovers. I built a free 3-minute test to help reveal to you exactly what your secret hidden superpower is. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below, take the test, and start using your spy superpower to stay ahead of 99% of people.
There's a very practical level in federal government where somebody else decides what technology you use. And whether you like it or not, whether it's good or bad technology, you're stuck with it because some acquisitions officer said, this is what we're buying. I spent a lot of time on Windows 98 when it was shitty, man.
That's a different story than what we got here. Rob, what is the one clip we had? I don't know if you've seen this one where this lady's on Stephen Colbert. And she starts talking about, have you seen this thing?
I don't think so.
Okay, so this is interesting. So she's sitting and all of a sudden, I think the conversation said, did you ever work with CIA for the movie and all this other stuff?
She did a show called Homeland on Showtime, I believe, Claire Danes, where it was about intelligence agencies tracking terrorists. And here's what she said.
So that they're saying he interrupted so quickly because the producer on the back end was like, yo, stop, she's giving too much information. Is that likely or now is it just?
So I can see why a producer would redirect her for sure. I can also see how that may have just been he was excited. What year or what month was that, Rob?
I'd have to go back and check.
Because what she's saying is 100% accurate. We don't call it spy camp, but there are definitely moments where CIA officers who are no longer undercover will meet in restaurants around the DC area with actors, actresses, investors, market movers, anybody who can get the approval to sit with them. So
7.5
2018. So 2018 is 2 years after the Trump administration, and Trump was keeping CIA at a distance, if you recall back then. So she's telling the truth, and that is the kind of stuff that they talk about, and that's what happens at these camps. Silly enough, I actually am hosting my own spy camp for a major UK newspaper in my home in August, in late
Seriously?
August. Yeah, where I'll be doing the same thing. I'll run them through a mock surveillance operation. I'll run them through and teach them tradecraft and show them how to do things in the field so that they can be informed when they write their article.
That's wild, man. That is fully wild. So your book, when is the book coming out?
The book comes out September 9th.
September 9th?
Yep, it's called Shadow Cell. We discussed it earlier. And it was 3.5 years in the making, man, not because it took me 3.5 years to write it, but because it took 2.5 years for CIA to finally bend on letting it be published.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is so you and your wife wrote it together.
Yes, sir. It's our memoir about when we were put on an operation together against one of America's largest adversaries. And CIA really did not want us telling that story. They gave us initial permission to write the manuscript. We submitted the manuscript in 2022. They came back and they said, everything in this manuscript is classified. This will never see the light of day. So we went through about a 6-month process of trying to understand what they didn't like about our manuscript so we could edit it and fine-tooth change it. We asked for redactions, anything that would give us a way of getting to publicity or to publication. And they just kept saying no. So we ended up having to hire an attorney. And I'm totally happy to tell the world Mark Zaid is a fucking miracle worker when it comes to getting a classified organization to understand and listen to the author. And after getting to the place where we realized we had a case for First Amendment lawsuit against CIA, when we presented that to them, that's when they were like, publish your book.
No shit.
Because the content of the book is about a mole hunt where my wife and I were used as bait to get a mole from a foreign country to make a mistake. And in the process of us building our operations, we also were being targeted by this mole. And because we were put in harm's way intentionally, we had a First Amendment right to tell the story.
Are you joking?
Nope, dead serious. And this is the man that got it across the finish line. And I will support Mark Zaid until the day I stop producing content.
Do you feel safe from the CIA?
I do, because there are American laws.
You smiled a little bit.
Because I feel safe. I feel safe in my life and my health. I don't feel safe that they won't one day take all of my money and destroy my reputation and then leave me humiliated on the side of the street. I hope that they won't. I hope that they see that what I do is better than, being destroyed like they did to John. But it's always a risk.